This is a perfect transition, talking about cannibalism and these new takes, how they get us to who we are. Tender is the Flesh and A Certain Hunger are both works that I haven't read, but I have a lot to say about them. I can't read Tender is the Flesh. It hurts me physically. My stomach turns. I feel viscerally attacked by the words on the page. I don't think it's trying to harm the reader directly. I'm completely against fiction that is showing something horrific in order to shock and hurt you physically, targeting the reader. What Tender is the Flesh is doing is getting to the industrialization of cannibalism at such a formal level that there is zero place for us to fit in with what's going on. We're just seeing this horrific thing unfold. It's clockwork. There's some enjoyment that does drive what's going on, but it's not something we can fall in with at all. And the ending it gets to is an immoralism and an immoral move that just precludes any way out of this situation. It's all a dead end. So this is something people like because there's a lot of popularity with Hannah Arendt's idea about the industrialization of mass unaliving and the worst things humanity can do. But the more important point is to focus on the enjoyment that drives these huge expenditures of violence. So it's a popular way of codifying the ways in which we do terrible things, like systemic violence in different ways. But systemic violence is driven by enjoyment and excess. So it's basically a sacrifice to a dark god. That's kind of how these things work. And so the clockwork side of things tries to wash away that excess. The site to focus on with that kind of thing is Kafka. Kafka is about, being lost in these bureaucratic, topsy-turvy worlds that have, terrible conclusions and whatnot. But it's the way in which we are attached to them and also befuddled by what they're doing. What they want from us is the thing to tarry with. And with Tender is the Flesh, I don't think there's any what it wants from us. It's just moving forward in the clockwork. So, For me, there's not much more to say than that. It's just a thing that I don't want to touch. A Certain Hunger strikes me as taking Silence of the Lambs and making it contemporary by making it feminine and adding sexuality to it. So that's building a world off of cannibalism and showing how cannibalism is its own culture. It's part of the fabric of culture. So we build our culture, our way things should be, by disavowing cannibalism, but that's still part of the fabric. And so when you turn it on its head and show the culture that's built with cannibalism, you're getting to the same fabric, the same stuff, just the thing that's disavowed. So cannibalism is an object of desire par excellence, not because we all want it most of all or because it's prohibited, but because it really encapsulates ambiguity perfectly. Because, do we want that? What is the thing that we want? And it's also the desire of the others. Other people want it of me. So what we desire is something we have a very strenuous relationship towards. And so cannibalism is the thing we're strenuous towards the most of all. So it's not that we secretly do want it, but it's this question of, do I want that, right? And when we take a stance like Silence of the Lambs or Certain Hunger, where we're confident that we want the thing, that it's not undoing, we're taking a perverse stance. We're saying, I've got the object. This is it. And then we can build a world off of that, this symbolic world of, a cultured world where we are so certain this is the way things should be. And, that is fine to a point, but that's not the thing, right? That's all a defense mechanism, a way of putting off what's undoing. So another comparison is Maeve Fly, which is more in the psychotic, American Psycho side of things, but it's the same issue where we fall into the violence as a defense mechanism against what's really problematic and undoing, what leaves us open to change, which is love. Something as simple as just falling in love with someone. So it's not that kind of fiction is inherently lower quality or fails to reach its concept necessarily, but it is at all sides a dead end. It's not getting to who we are. It's a way of putting off who we are. So I think with Silence of the Lambs, the way in which we are a bit undone when we realize we're in Hannibal Lecter's position is interesting. But if we're fans who are just, I'm in love with, Hannibal Lecter as a character, so cool, that's something we have to be wary of. Finding some enjoyment in that is fine, but it's not the thing. We've not gotten to the other side of things. It's part of the fabric of ways of holding off what's undoing about cannibalism and who we are. And that's why my stance with cannibalism is through the zombie, the monstrosity of it. It keeps it in the right spot. So it's attached to us, but it's this thing that's coming at us too.